friends, welcome back to the homestead. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for dropping in. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And today kicks off the Every Bit Counts challenge for the month of August. And like last year, I will be posting a video every single day this month of what we are preserving to help offset cost and eat better through the winter months. Now, full disclosure, there is going to be some times where some of the videos I did film ahead of time due to us being gone on vacation or whatnot. So I just want to make sure you all, know that, because some things, aren't available now from what I did a little while ago. So, but this way I'm able to have a video out for you every day this month, and I can stick to my goal of that. So this year's challenge, I say this every year, but this year, this is my third year also participating on YouTube in the Every Bit Counts challenge. I love doing it. It is so amazing to me at the end of the month to see how much every little bit does add up at the end of the month. And I think every year I always say, oh, it's going to be a challenge because there's not as much to share with you, because it doesn't seem like mine doesn't ramp up until the half part of August, just because of our growing season here. But this year truly is going to be a challenge because my garden is not great this year. I hate to use the word failure, but I definitely feel a bit of a failure with my garden this year. And that's not fair to myself because a lot of it is beyond my control. Our weather has been cuckoo bananas nuts here this summer. We either have an insane amount of rain, 2 cool nights, and then we are blazing hot. Today, for example, I won't be staying out here very long with you. Thank goodness I have my shade, because it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit here again today. I don't think we've had a day below 100 in a while here. The garbage and recycling truck just went by. So let's just deal with the negative first. My peppers are not great. I don't know if you can see them, but I've gotten, so far, we've picked 2 fresh peppers that we've ate fresh. I do have one maybe that will be ready in a day or 2, but for the most part, there are no peppers on these plants. I barely saw any blossoms. And yeah, the leaves have brown spots on them. I have fertilized. I've done everything I can this year. I have been staying on top of the weeding. This is probably the best I've ever done with weeding this year. Now, I haven't been out for a few days to weed because, like I said, it's just been so hot. And yesterday we had torrential rains, which was great because I didn't have to water anything. But it's just steamy. And then when the weather is cool, it is so buggy. Like, I cannot stand it. I tend to react to bug bites, so I have to be careful how many are biting me. So that has made it difficult. And I've made sure they've had the right nutrients. They're just not doing great. Aiden's doing some work for David today. The 4-wheeler just went by. He's filling in our driveway, got these great big huge divots in it from the torrential rains we've had this summer, so he's filling those in. Anyway, yeah, so disappointed because if you're new here, we eat a lot of bell peppers year round because I love Mexican, I love stir fries, all that. So that's one of the things I'm going to be sourcing. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing this challenge is probably sourcing. Will be sourcing maybe a good 60-70% of our produce this year, just because it has been such a rough season. So bell peppers will definitely be one of the things that we are going to be sourcing for this challenge. And it's still cheaper than buying them in the winter, because the winter here, 1 bell pepper can be $4 or $5, as high as $6, and that's not even organic. Sorry, I've gotten bit by a bug. Yeah, so they can be very expensive. And I don't know what happened this year. I'm getting to the point where I don't know if I'm going to grow bell peppers anymore. It's gotten that difficult the last couple years to grow them here. What else? My cucumbers. I didn't really plant a lot. I got enough for fresh eating. I've already pulled them all. I'm trying to put something in there for fall. I just haven't decided what, because I have a lot of yellow beans going. There's some right here beside me. There's some in another pot that I've been picking already from. So there's a lot of that. I was not going to grow tomatoes this year, and I had a friend give me 2 plants, and the one plant died. because it got broke in one of the some rainstorms we had. But the other one's doing amazing. So I'll be able to do a little bit from them. But again, I've already sourced from a local source from one of the ladies actually in my Women in Homesteading group that I'm a part of, which I love, by the way. She's going to be selling a lot of tomatoes because they had a bumper crop of plants. I think she said they planted like 95 plants. So she's going to be selling them, and that way I can just get what I want to get done with them and over with. So I'll be sourcing them. Yeah, even the herbs have been suffering. I have planted so many basil plants, so many, because my goal was to have enough for a whole year of dried basil, and it's going to be a struggle. I'm trying, but it's just, I do see it looks like it's doing a little bit better. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's doing better. Yeah, it's been a struggle, and I think too, to be honest, I didn't plant as much this year because I decided not to do starts, if you remember, because I had burnt myself out last year and I bought starts. I decided not to start seed. I decided not to do starts from seed this year. My brain, it's so hot out here. And so I bought starts, but there's just one problem. Starts are expensive. They are very, very expensive. Even though I found a local source and one of the ladies from our Women in Homesteading, it still adds up. And so that's another reason I didn't plant as many things. I already know I'm going to be doing starts next year. I will be starting seeds. I've already thought about where I'm going to be doing it and everything because it was so expensive. So I really didn't grow a lot because of that this year. So I'm not regretting it because I feel a lot less stressed this year about the garden. I have other stress that I'm dealing with, but the garden is not one of them. And the garden never should be a stress, because it's my happy place. It's where I come to de-stress. And I'm trying not to let it get to me and not feel like I'm a failure. David keeps telling me, Lynn, no, you can't control the weather. You're doing everything you can. It's not your fault. And I'm trying to remind myself of that, but it's difficult. It is difficult. You also are going to see, I have a lot of stuff still preserved from last fall, winter, because I kind of can year round. I take a little bit of a break sometimes, but I can't do a lot of canning even in the winter. And I have a lot to use up. And I mean a lot. Looking at my shelves, my freezers and things the last 2 months, knowing the challenge was coming, doing my Just Can It in July, and I will share the playlist here for that at the end of this video, where I canned 47 jars worth of food on my shelf, most of it meat. And Jessica had put a post on her Instagram or YouTube, I can't remember which, that she's actually deciding to do what's going to serve her best is canning more meals and more things to make quick meals. And it's funny because that's exactly what I decided to do this year too. At this stage in our lives, that's what we're eating a lot more of. We're not eating a ton of jelly and jams. We're not eating a lot of apple butters and fruit butters and things. We're not eating that. So we're doing a lot of the meals. And that's what I'm going to try and focus on. It's either going to be ingredient to make a meal or a whole meal in itself. And because of all this extra I have, I've decided that every day, one of my days during this challenge, not every day, but one of these days during the challenge, I might decide to take some pumpkin, like out of the freezer, make a whole bunch of muffins and freeze the muffins so we have them going for snacks and back to school. We go back to school here in just a little over a month here. For Aiden and things like that. So I still think that's part of the challenge because I'm still preserving. It just might be a baked good. So like I said, it's going to be a little bit different, but I think it's going to be fun. And that's what's great about this challenge. Everybody sees it in a different way. And this year I'm seeing it as either making sure I'm doing things that are going to serve us, and I'm going to make sure that I'm actually going to use up. I have a lot of dehydrated fruit that I need to use up. So we're going to try some things with that during this challenge. Because you don't always get to see the end result of what we all preserve sometimes in August, right? Maybe the canned things, but I find I haven't shown a lot of what I've done with my dehydrating. And I want to use it because that's why, I'm using up the electricity and the time to do that. So I want to, make sure I'm getting that going. So, that being said, what are we canning? What are we preserving today? Today, we are going to tackle the celery. This has been my best year for celery. I'm very happy. So, I do have some positive. My celery has been amazing. My onions have been amazing. My snow peas have been amazing. I'm getting a lot of yellow beans. My herb garden has produced so many things between the chamomile, the calendula, the oregano, the different mints I grew. There's so many things that we'll be preserving out of the herb garden too, which I'm very excited about because y'all know I love my herbs, and I'm making a lot of teas out of these herbs this year. So, you know, my sunflowers are doing great. My hibiscus is growing. That just bloomed. It's definitely loving this hotter weather. And then I've got an invasive morning glory growing there, and I'm just going to let it go because it's just too pretty. I have managed to get there's quite a few too. I see right now green cherry tomatoes growing in my little pot. My delicata squash is doing really nice. I have to actually check on that. My purple beans that we planted late after I picked all my garlic, they're all blossoming and starting to have little purple beans. My second growing of yellow beans, we'll probably be picking a bunch of them in the next day or two because I'm seeing quite a few that are going to be ready. So there is definitely some positives. It hasn't all been negative, but I just want to be transparent. Sometimes, you know, you cannot control Mother Nature. You just can't. You can't control the weather, and you can do your best, and sometimes it just doesn't work out for you. And I think I'm going to concentrate too this fall on really getting my soil nice and healthy. Compost it, put some compost in there, let it sit over the winter. Like I'm really gonna make sure I'm doing my best to make sure it has the healthiest soil going into the spring next year. And we have plans to expand. Our old gazebo that got destroyed a bit during one of our storms a couple years ago, and we weren't sure what to do with it, but we hung on to it. We're going to put some raised beds in that next year. So I will be extending my garden out a little bit into that next year. So that's exciting. We weren't going to, but you know, even if we're only here another 2 or 3, maybe 4 years, so be it. You know, that's 2 or 3, 4 more years of gardening that I can get in. And you know, hopefully it will serve the next person who buys our home. Okay, let's harvest some celery. So like I said, this is the best season of celery I've ever had. So we are gonna cut some of this and preserve it today. Wow, look at that. Is that not it's lovely? That was just 2 ribs of celery. We'll leave the other 2 for a little bit because I do want some for fresh eating. But this, we're definitely gonna go into the house and preserve. And no time like the present because it's very warm out here, friends. Okay, so I washed all the celery all up and I cut off all the tops, and the tops I will dehydrate. They dehydrate actually really nice. I did this last year. So I put this on roughly 115, and because they're not quite a full vegetable, but they're more than an herb, so we're gonna try that. I think that's what I did last year, 115. And that is good to go. It's very humid out here in the outdoor kitchen. So the AC is running, if that's what you're, that noise. So this is probably gonna take definitely all day.
My wish is that you don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. I'm running, and you should too, and hit that subscribe button. I know what you've been asking yourself. How can I make a difference? I'm just one person.
I can make a difference, but I'm just one person.
Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that it's free, quick, and easy. Share this video on your social media and make that difference today.
To mention, I washed them all and then ran them all through my salad spinners to get as much of the water off as I could. So next up, we are going to vacuum seal our celery, and I have cut it in I cut it in half, some of the longer pieces, just so it will fit in here easier. And I'm going to be using my Nesco vacuum sealer, and I want to thank Nesco for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to be honest, I get asked quite a few times a week to be an affiliate of a certain company or to promote a product, and I honestly say no to a lot of things because I take it very seriously. If I'm going to promote something or recommend something, I'm going to make sure it's a company that I like, their products are good quality, they're not insanely expensive, and it's something I feel good recommending to all of you. So when Nesco asked if I would like to join their affiliate program, that wasn't really hard to say yes to because I have several Nesco products, including the vacuum sealer, the dehydrator, which is one of my favorites, and it's a great budget dehydrator if you're just starting with dehydrating, and of course my absolute favorite, my electric pressure canner. And I want to let you know the price of the electric pressure canner on Nesco's website is $169. That is the best price I have seen for the electric pressure canner. They also have the traditional pressure canner, is also a 16-quart one, I believe, and that is also a very reasonable price. So I'm going to put a link down below. If you click that link, it will take you to the Nesco site. They ship to Canada, anywhere in Canada and the United States. I feel really good about promoting their products. I really believe they have a quality product, and I love them, and I think the prices are very reasonable. That link will take you, like I said, to the website, and there you'll see all kinds of things from seasoning for your dehydrating, to cake pans, to the canners, to food mills. There's all kinds of wonderful things on their website. Also, it will say that the electric canner is out of stock, but I've just checked with them today, and they told me that it will say out of stock when they're getting low on products, but they still have some available. Again, thank you, Nesco, for sponsoring this video. I do have a traditional vacuum sealer, which I love, but this one is not only bigger, it not only has the marinade button, canister button, which you can get canisters and also vacuum sealed jars and things, but what I really love is it holds your bags, which mine did not, and it has its own cutter. This is amazing because I cannot cut a straight line sometimes. I usually have to get out the paper cutter, make sure everything is straight. So now I can just pull this out, cut, and it's perfect every time. So I'm going to place it here along this strip. This is the sealing strip. And we're going to make sure we're good and closed. We see 0 pop up. So bring you over so you can see that better. Okay, and we are going to click manual seal. And this is the other little option I love about this. It will count down and let me know when it's close to being done. My other one, I just had to wait and see if it was done, but this one absolutely lets me know. It also has a pulse vacuum. Pulse it until you get the exact amount you want. It also has 2 pressure settings for normal and gentle. If you're going to be vacuum sealing something really fragile, you would use the gentle pressure button. And there, we're down to 0. So we lift. It has sealed it. And we're going to fill it with our celery. Now, I did not blanch this celery because I plan on using this within 3 to 4 months. If you want your celery to last 14 to 18 months, you definitely will need to blanch it. So you will just blanch it for 4 or 5 minutes in hot boiling water, take it out, put it in cold water to stop the blanching process, and then dry, and then just go ahead and vacuum seal. It tastes better, the flavor will last longer, but like I said, I do plan on using this in the next few months for different recipes I have coming up, so I'm not gonna blanch it, so I can save a step today. Okay, and then we're gonna push this down, and we're gonna do vac and seal. And there. I hope you heard that. It released the pressure, and we are completely sealed. This will last no problem. If I had blanched it, I would have no problems leaving this in my freezer for over a year, vacuum sealed like this. It's a great way to extend the life of meat, vegetables, fruit. Okay, I think we can get one more bag done. So we're gonna cut another one. This holds the small roll of vacuum seal bags and also the large bag. It also has these little tabs here that help hold your bag until you close it. That's a nice little feature too. Like I said, it's the little things. You might be wondering why I just did that on my stove also. I'll show you. I have 0 room on my island where I typically would use that machine because this is all my dehydrating so far this year. And obviously a watermelon and a cantaloupe we just got at the grocery store. So yeah, I need to find room on my shelves because I'm not even done. There's more dehydrating that's going to be happening over the next few weeks, so that's a lot. Okay, friends, there we go. 2 bags of celery vacuum sealed and ready to go in the freezer. And that wraps up day 1. We'll see you back here tomorrow from Every Bit Counts Challenge.